Alright, Venusaur, I mean, there's a lot of meat to this, although there's also a lot of plant. It's like, what, 50-50 frog and plant, and I mean, I guess we can put it in the healthy and nutritious. Probably a bit tasty, but I think we can put in the healthy and nutritious tier. Pikachu, I mean, small, it's a rat. Although it can produce its own electricity. You can cook your Pikachu with your own Pikachu. You don't need like a separate power supply to do so. So I think that's pretty quick and easy. Put in the quick and easy category. Now Alolan Raichu does have that psychic typing, which might making it a little bit more conscious about it being able to cook itself. So it might not be so easy to cook this thing like the Pikachu. So I don't feel comfortable about putting Alolan Raichu in that quick and easy tier. Although I think we can put it in the probably tasty tier. It is just a lot more like meat and everything to the bone. And I feel like you can get probably like 2 to 3 good days of food if from Alolan Raichu. So probably a pretty tasty Pokemon. So next up we got Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales. And Alolan Ninetales, I mean, it's a very skinny Pokemon, really lean, a lot of muscle, has to run around a lot, and it's also made of ice, so that's gonna be a bit hard to cook. You're gonna have to put it well over like 450 degrees, and you have a risk of like burning the meat or burning other parts of the meat. I'm gonna put in the maybe edible tier for right now. It might be a bit unethical to fry up in Alolan Ninetales, although I'm leaning on the maybe edible side. I think maybe you can get something going here. Next is the Mewtwo Y, and this is definitely unethical. This is a clone of a person. I believe it has part DNA in there. It is definitely unethical to eat Mewtwo, and honestly probably inedible too. I mean, there's not much going on there besides like liquids and such that are probably not safe for consumption. So next up we have Mew, and honestly I think we'll put Mew in the quick and easy tier. It's a very small Pokemon. It is probably a bit hard to catch the Mew, especially if it's running coaching. Then it can sort of just start teleporting everywhere, and well, I don't want to deal with that, right? That's probably a nightmare to deal with in the kitchen. So it's probably not the best Pokemon to try and eat, but if you are able to get your hands on a Mew, you can tell that you can make it into like a nice Chianti or something like that, and you can get like a lot of different flavor profiles from this Pokemon. So next we have Espeon, and Espeon also going into the inedible / unethical tier. It's just a Siamese cat. I own a cat. Alright, moving on, we have Gardevoir, and Gardevoir also going in that unethical tier. I don't really need to explain much more about that. Next, we have Latios, and Latios, I think we're actually going to be putting into the maybe edible tier. It is based off of like a jet plane, and jet planes are, you know, notorious for not being, you know, edible, right? So if there's any sort of like jet engine fuel or something like that that's kind of running through Latios, I definitely don't think that that's something that you should be eating. Glaceon, we're also going to be putting in the maybe edible tier. It could be edible. It has the same kind of problems as Ninetales, where it's kind of made of ice, and once you start heating it up, I mean, is it going to start melting? Do you still have to cook these things at the same temperature, right? Is that even possible is another question. And it's also a Pokemon that is very lean, very muscular, not much fat on this Pokemon. Next we have Chandelure, and Chandelure is not only a candle, Chandelure, it's also a ghost. And I'm not aware of anyone eating a ghost before, although I could imagine it being fairly tasty if you can get your hands on the right ghost. So next we have Delphox, and Delphox is a pretty quick and easy meal right there. It is fairly large, although it does have it is made of fire, so again, you don't have to waste money or time getting those power sources, getting that oven heated up to the right degree. You have the Delphox right there, and it can kind of cook itself. Next, we have Greninja, and Greninja is also going to go into this probably tasty tier. Greninja is like 10 times as large as a frog. I mean, you can only imagine just how good Greninja frog leg could taste, especially if you dip it in some butter or even some fried Greninja legs. I think that could be a pretty good meal you could go for. So next we got Sylveon, and just like Espeon, we're going to be putting it in the inedible / unethical tier. It just feels a bit unethical to eat your own evolutions. I don't know, something about that just seems like you're crossing a bit of a line. So next we got Decidueye, and Decidueye, I was thinking about putting it in that maybe edible tier. It is a giant owl, but it also has just a lot of leaves on it, and I'm not too sure if the leaves it has are edible. One move that it uses a lot is Razor Leaf, which is very sharp, and I'm not sure if you want to digest some leaves that are that sharp into your body. So I would be wary about delving into any of these Decidueyes. However, being said, you may be able to make like a spinach out of the leaves that it provides, and you could probably make a quite healthy, nutritious meal. So I think we're actually going to be moving it up to the healthy, nutritious tier. It's just something that you probably should be eating raw. Those leaves are probably a bit not safe for consumption, but after cooking them down and softening up a bit, I bet they can make a really nice spinach out of that. So next we have Cinderace, and I mean, without a doubt, Cinderace is going to be in that probably tasty tier. One of those legs can feed a whole family for a week, and it's just probably one of the best Pokemon that you could have to eat. So next we have Inteleon. Inteleon going to go in that quick and easy tier. It's a very skinny lizard, so it's probably very easy to fry, or even have some Inteleon skewers as well. It could possibly be a very nice street food, something nice to have in the summer. The only issue with Inteleon is that it can turn invisible, so trying to locate it could be a bit of a tough task. Although just marking it with some spray paint, or just putting a little tag on it, it's really easy to track these guys down and make sure your food doesn't run away on you. So next we got Cramorant, and Cramorant gonna go in that probably tasty tier. Nothing beats a KFC bucket of Cramorants. Next we got Duraludon, and Duraludon being made of completely made of metal, I really doubt that it is something that could be very edible, sadly. So sadly we're gonna have to put it at the bottom of the inedible / unethical tier. And then next we got Dragapult. Dragapult is a ghost, and as I was saying earlier, I'm not too sure if you're able to eat a ghost. There hasn't really been any recorded cases of anyone eating a ghost, sadly, so we're still waiting to hear back on that information. Although being said, if you are in some way able to eat a ghost, Dragapult would probably be a fairly tasty Pokemon. So throwing it up in the air and weighing all of our options together, we're going to be still putting into the maybe edible tier until we get some confirmation, some absolute confirmation that you cannot indeed eat a ghost. I don't think that we can put it anywhere else right now. Next we have Armarouge. So Armarouge, being made of fire, is a very easy way to cook itself, and would probably be putting it in the quick and easy tier, although it is kind of a little too much humanoid for my liking. It does just kind of look like a man in a suit of armor, and I can't really imagine it being that good, since also, how much meat's gonna be under that armor, and is it burnt already, right? We don't know if that is burnt under that already, or if it's still good and just needs to get marinated a little bit, a little prep work done before we can start cooking it. So I'm still going to be putting it in the maybe edible tier. We need to see how this Pokemon looks without the armor on, and to see if it's already burnt and charred, or if we can, savor any parts of this guy and maybe make like a nice brisket out of it. So the last Pokemon we got is Miraidon, and Miraidon would be a pretty tasty Pokemon if it wasn't completely made out of metal. Just like Duraludon, I'm not really sure what the angle is on how you can how you can eat this guy. It's probably much better smelted down and turned into some nice cupware or china for you to eat your food on. Although as for eating itself, I'm gonna have to put it also in that inedible / unethical tier. I don't really see a way on how you can, you know, get a fork and knife to a Miraidon without even making it a harm to yourself with all of the conductive electricity. You're going to most likely be using metal silverware, so Miraidon going to the bottom of that in an inedible / unethical tier. And that's going to do it for this week of the best tasting Pokemon. So the attackers did fairly decent. There's honestly a lot of inedible attackers in the game, which is a bit disappointing. There's definitely a lot of good Pokemon you can sink your teeth in and get a really good meal out of. And I wish that like we can get a couple more in Pokemon Unite. Although I gotta say we got some good options. We got like the KFC bird or some Pikachu skewers. Definitely some very good options and some recommendations if you haven't tried them out already. Anyways, I've been Brik Clampton. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And until next time, guys, stay nasty.